you guys? Welcome to another episode of Ask Alex, where this is the show where you take all of your questions and answer them here on this show. I'm your host, Alex Hampton, and today, I know the studio looks a little bit weird, but we have a different kind of show today. You guys, I've been doing this show for over 50 episodes by myself, so this time, I have a co-host with me. You guys know him from Movies Are Terrible. You guys know him from People Are Terrible. You guys know him from a lot of controversial things. He's done things with Ian Elliott Carter from The Controversy, and he's a really cool dude. It's someone I met throughout my life journey. His name is Jeremy Branch. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
Man, I am so glad to be collaborating with you finally. This is something that's been in the works for, I don't know, at least 2, maybe 3 years, and I'm glad to be doing it. And Ask Alex is probably my favorite of your content, so it's a pleasure to be here, and I can't wait to talk some movies with you.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's been a minute. We collabed on your show, yes, but I never got a chance to have you on my show, and it's actually an honor for me because I've never done anything like this to this extent. So this is gonna be dope. And if you guys who send your questions on this show, you guys know how to do it. Just go to the email, theaskalexshow@gmail.com. That's theaskalexshow@gmail.com. If you submit me your question or topic on this show, me and Jeremy will be able to answer it. Just let me know what kind of question that you have. I'll be more than happy to tackle it on the show. And if this is your first time ever watching my show or Jeremy's stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you get all the notifications every time we release a video here on our channels. Now, I got this first question from a Mr. Ryan Lee. We're going to jump to the first question of the day, which comes from a Ryan Lee, and he writes, "Hey Alex, Christian Bale has been confirmed that he is the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder. What do you think about this development, and does this change your perspective about this film?" So thank you for your question, Ryan. So what Ryan's referring to literally was confirmed a couple days ago, or recently, not really a couple days ago, but recently, that Christian Bale was going to be in Love and Thunder as the villain. Now, it was rumored that he was going to be in the movie, but nothing confirmed, but we got official confirmation. Now, if anyone who knows Christian Bale, he was obviously our Batman, and on top of that, he's done other movie projects outside of Batman. As an actor, I think he's amazing. Now, to answer your question, do I think it will change my perspective about Love and Thunder? Truth be told, I don't know what the movie's going to be about, so I can't really give a perspective about it. I did say I am excited that Taika Waititi is coming back to direct. I'm excited that the original cast and newcomers are coming back. My only thing that I didn't like was that they're making a female Thor, and it's not the fact that it's a female Thor, it's just the fact that it's not the Thor that we know. So that's my thing about it. But Jeremy, what do you think about this new development, and does this change your perspective about the movie as a whole?
Ryan, that's actually pretty exciting news to me. I had heard something about it just, I think earlier today I saw a post, and it turns out that Tessa Thompson was doing an interview, and she came out and said basically Christian Bale is going to play our villain, which is going to be fantastic. So pretty general statement. I'm not sure about what villain he's going to play, but if I'm being honest, it really doesn't matter because unless it's Loki or Beta Ray Bill, I probably don't know who it is anyways. I'm not super familiar with the Thor comic books.
Right.
That said, I've liked all of the movies to different degrees. I feel like Thor Ragnarok is far and away the strongest, and it's actually one of my favorite Marvel movies to rewatch. So that said, Taika Waititi being involved in Love and Thunder, the visual aesthetic that they established in the last film, the kind of comedic tone, I feel like it's in pretty good hands. Now, the thing about the female Thor, I understand the concern. I don't know if this is a passing on of the baton, right? Like, I don't know if this means, excuse me, I don't know if this means that Jane Foster becomes Thor moving forward and Chris Hemsworth isn't anymore.
Right.
I don't know if they're both going to be Thors, like an Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of situation, and they can almost do like a duel or a buddy cop kind of situation.
Right.
I'm not sure, but I trust Taika Waititi, and I think he's going to do something funny and subversive. I wouldn't be stoked if Natalie Portman steps in and takes over for Chris Hemsworth, just because I like that guy a lot. But at the same time, things grow, things change, things evolve. We've only got, Daniel Craig for so many Bond movies. We only had Chris Evans for so many Captain America movies. So if this is the direction they want to go, it's about time Natalie Portman got something to do in those damn movies, because, up to this point, she's just been kind of there,
Yeah, and I agree, because if you look at her track record in all the Thor movies that she's appeared in, she's basically just a damsel in distress. I mean, the second Thor movie was basically about her. She got the little red Infinity Stone in her.
The ether.
Exactly, the ether, and Thor's whole journey was trying to extract that out of her body. Well, at least for half of the movie. So for me personally, I do want to see her do something different. But if she's going to be Thor, I don't want it to be like a passing of the torch. I want to kind of be like you said, like a dual cop, like in Avengers Endgame, Captain America wielding Mjolnir and Thor wielding Stormbreaker. I want something like that.
That's a good point, man. And that's something that they probably could do. Yeah. What it is about Ragnarok for me is like, it's got the Led Zeppelin and the soundtrack. It's very like, it looks like a heavy metal album from like the late 70s or early 80s. Mm-hmm. Like if you guys play Dungeons and Dragons, or you've like seen those old school like nerdy vans with chicks and chainmail and like the dudes with the big giant swords and dragons and stuff, like, the movies are just fun. So I'm going more in for that than any sort of, there's a lot of conversation about, what it means when Marvel, swaps the race or the gender of their characters. And if you can justify it with a fun movie, I could really care less about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, me too. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a good addition to the Thor movie? Or do you guys think that this would be bad? Or do you guys not really care as much? Jump in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next question, which comes from a Larry Stanford. And he writes, "Hey Alex, there are new images of Batman standing next to the Batmobile. What do you think about these images that were released?" And
here we go.
Well, thank you for your question, Larry. So, okay, as you guys know, and even Jeremy knows, because me and Jeremy have talked about this, they're releasing these new images of the Batman, and I personally am not favoring them. And a lot of people have been telling me, well, this is the beginning stages of Batman's career, and he didn't have it all together. This is pre-Lucius Fox and all this other stuff, which I understand. I get it. I understand the comic book run, but for me, it doesn't look good. Like, it doesn't, aesthetically, for me, it looks like a bad cosplay job. Now, I get where they're going with the whole Batmobile, and I'll pull up the image on the screen, the whole Batmobile where they're taking back to the original comics. My only thing, I have two questions. Is this Batman taking place in the year of 2020? Is this taking place like during the Joker era? And my only thing is, to answer the question, does it change my perspective? No, I still don't like it. I think it's still terrible. Personally, I'm just not a huge fan of what they've released so far. And people keep saying to me, well, again, this is pre-Lucius Fox. This is Batman year 2. I would like to remind people, in Batman Begins, although Lucius Fox was in that movie, Batman looked dope. And that was his first year as Batman. And I would also like to remind you, the Batmobile that he had was 10 times better than what we saw in these images. But that's just me, Jeremy. I kind of have a feeling of where you're going to go with this. But what do you think about these new developments of the Batman movie?
one of my favorite things about being able to talk movies with anybody is, and like John Campea says it all the time, film is subjective.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that I can think that it's fantastic and that you can be wrong. Like, it's so great. No, 100% I get where you're coming from. I'm just totally kidding about that. The idea of, is it aesthetically pleasing? Does it look sleek? Does it have that polish that we've come to expect from Batmobiles? If I'm being honest, I didn't really like the Tumbler when I first saw the Batman movies. I understand practically, and as a tactical vehicle, why something like that would work, especially when you look at the Batmobile and the 89 Batmobile, and he literally had to like fire out a grappling hook from his tire to grab onto like a freaking water fire hydrant or whatever to take turns. Like, that thing is not aerodynamic, but I always really liked the 89 Batmobile. I really liked the Batman animated series Batmobiles. Those are my favorite ones that weren't from the comics. That said, I am kind of in the former camp of what you said. I love the idea, in particular the Batmobile, like the Batman on the motorcycle. It was a bulky build. He didn't have the cape. I don't know what it's going to look like in post, but I like the idea that like he's built this body armor so that if he takes a spill on that motorcycle, it's not just going to eat him up on the road. I think that's pretty cool, especially if he's trying to take bullets and stuff. What I like about it, and I want to ask about Lucius Fox in a second, but what I like about it is the fact that it feels like he made that stuff in a garage. He's got money, he's got resources, and he's in there with a freaking welder making that stuff happen. Like, that to me is dope narratively. Now, does it look great? That's a different conversation to me, but I do feel like it's going to work for the story. Is Lucius Fox a comic book character? I don't know.
Okay, so in the original comics, I don't remember a Lucius Fox character ever being mentioned in the Batman universe. Not until the New 52, maybe pre-New 52, because I got introduced to Lucius Fox in Batman Begins.
Same.
So for me, I didn't know if he was comic book accurate. Now, when I read Batman's New 52 run, he's heavily involved in what Bruce Wayne is doing.
Okay.
But prior to the New 52, I can't say whether he was involved or not. I want to say no, because when I watched the Batman animated series, right? Yes. There is no Lucius Fox in any of that, and that whole series is based off the original comics to a degree. Sure. We don't see Jason Todd and we don't see the killings and stuff like that. But to a degree, the Batman animated series is loosely based off the comics. So for me, I wouldn't say he's a comic book character way back when, but he's definitely a relevant comic book character now.
So he's canon now, yeah. And that to me, that does maybe Lucius will come into the story later on. I don't know exactly the direction that they're going to go with it, but also I'm a really big fan of Matt Reeves. So just generally separate from the way that it looks, I don't know that me and you have even talked about how you feel. Like, what's your temperature on the movie itself?
So for me, I'm actually okay. So originally, when I heard that Robert Pattinson was cast as Batman, I said no. I didn't like it. Did not like it. And people can say, "Are you don't like it because of Twilight?" I said, actually, no. I haven't seen all the Twilight films, so I can't really judge that. But I have seen all the other Robert Pattinson films, and he's an amazing actor. I stand by him saying he's an amazing actor. But I don't believe he's played anything that can mirror the image of being the Dark Knight.
Okay.
So for me, I was not a fan of that. But as we got more casting announcements, we got more settings. We got Matt Reeves saying he's done. He started production. I'm excited for this film. Batman is my favorite DC character out of all DC. But for me, what started to, and again, I said this about Sonic. I said, I love the fact that they redesigned Sonic. Great. But it didn't change the story of the movie.
100%.
So you know what I'm saying? So for me, his suit may look crap, But I'm still excited for the movie because it looks like they're going a procedural route where this is more of a crime mob boss movie than your average comic book movie. I feel like they're going in the Joker direction of addressing, okay, this is Batman in the middle of Gotham, his second year, dealing with all of this.
I agree.
And I think we're really going to see the detective that we haven't seen in the previous films. So
Absolutely.
That's what I'm excited for. But again, for me, there are comic book versions of Batman that look better in terms of his suit than what we're seeing now. So that's my take on that. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like the new images? Do you think that, again, I'm just going in for no reason? Do you guys agree with Jeremy? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And let's go ahead and jump into the next question, which comes from a Keith Perry. And he writes, "Hey Alex, The Last of Us is going to HBO Max. It's going to be an HBO series instead of a movie. Do you think that this is a smart idea, or should this be on the big screen?" Well, thank you for your question, Keith. I've played The Last of Us, and if you've played like The Last of Us or Uncharted, it definitely feels like a movie. It's an amazing game. I have two sides to this, in my opinion. Personally, I wouldn't care if it was on TV or movies, because you can still tell great stories either or. The only thing is with TV, you can tell that whole game in maybe 2 seasons that I would love to come back and keep watching. In a movie, you can tell it in 2.5 hours, but do I really want to spend that type of money on a 2.5 hour movie that I probably wouldn't be able to have to cram everything in? Now, if it's done right, do it right. But for me, either or is great. Like, for instance, like if they had done, like, let's say, Ready Player One as a TV series, well, I would have enjoyed it, but I really love the movie too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it works in both veins. So HBO taking on this series, I think it's wise. It's definitely something that they would need for their HBO Max stuff. So I think that would be great. But what do you think, Jeremy? Do you think this is a smart idea, or do you think this should be on the big screen?
So, I'm not real familiar with The Last of Us. First of all, it's a zombie game. Is that right?
Yep.
Do you feel like there's any way, especially on the television format, that we can differentiate it from The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead? Is it fundamentally different enough that the audience is going to be clamoring for it?
Yes, you can definitely. Yes and no. So, like, for instance, if the game is about a man and a little girl, right now there are very, very limited subscribers. I'm talking about maybe 10 people out of 100, like, zombies, 100 plus zombies. So he's not using, like, for instance, they're very similar in terms of the show and the game. Like, you're using like bats and bottles to kill zombies and guns in the game, like in the show as well. So you can tell a very different narrative. But with this game, it's not about coming up on top. It's just about survival. That's all it is. They're not trying to, like, in The Walking Dead, like, there's other agendas involved. In this game, it's about how do I stay alive the next day. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I think that would be great to see on TV or on the theater.
Yeah, these days I really like the storytelling to be on television. Obviously, I'm a huge movie guy, but I just feel like if you really want to be able to dig into the characters, if you really want to get further into, like, the emotional arcs of these characters, it's difficult to do that within the confines of a 2-hour movie.
Right.
The zombie genre is one of the most, well-tread genres out there. I've seen 200 zombie movies, you know what I mean? Like, they come out every year by the droves of them. That said, every year, every 2-3 years, something great comes along, from Shaun of the Dead to Zombieland to Anna and the Apocalypse a couple years ago. Like, there's still good stories to be told with that. But I don't know if you take the zombie thing and then you combine it with the video game thing. And like you and I had a small discussion the other day about how video game adaptations do, but I don't know if those two things combined together necessarily equal a hit.
Right.
The Witcher would say otherwise.
Right. And I didn't even know when I started watching it was based off of a video game, but it's done really well on Netflix. It was actually rated the #1 TV show on streaming. It beat The Mandalorian, which Mandalorian was the #1 TV show on Disney Plus. So like I've always said with video game movies, like I said in the previous video I did, is that if you tell a singular narrative and not weigh so heavily on the source material, like, you want to get more than just video game fans to watch this movie.
Sure.
And that's the thing, and I said this about like a Sonic. You can get kids, you can get Pokemon fans, you can get video game fans. If you tell a narrative story, and if you watch Sonic, none of that movie has anything to do with the games. Aside from where he comes from, none of that has anything to do with the games.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you do that with video game movies, to a degree, it can work. Now, The Last of Us, since it's going to be on HBO, you kind of want to utilize that source material because that's the what's the word I'm looking for? That's the guts of the game, the whole zombie apocalypse. But don't utilize it in a way where, okay, only video game people are going to watch it. Nah, you want to reach out zombie fans. You want to reach out Walking Dead fans. All different types of people to say, hey, this is much more different than a video game TV show / movie series. That's what I see. That's what I see.
I get where you're coming from. I 100% agree. I feel like somebody's inevitably going to get us because while The Witcher was originally a book series, I believe that Henry Cavill's character is based so heavily on the Geralt from the game that you gotta admit it's definitely, I would consider it falling into the video game category. But I think that The Last of Us is a good addition, and you mentioned this at the very top, of a good addition to the HBO catalog, because HBO right now is in a situation where they're trying to reach the level of volume of content so that they can compete with Disney Plus and so that they can compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime, these streaming services that have had years to build up a catalog. HBO is in a better situation than Apple, for example. You know, they've almost got nothing, or CBS All Access. But that said, HBO is now in the business of trying to compete with these other major streaming services. So they're going to need to build out a catalog. And I've been very concerned that they're just going to start buying up every piece of cheap crap that they can get just so that they can have a volume of content so that they can compete with Disney Plus and so that they can compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime, these streaming services that have had years to build up a catalog. HBO is in a better situation than Apple, for example. You know, they've almost got nothing, or CBS All Access. But that said, HBO is now in the business of trying to compete with these other major streaming services. So they're going to need to build out a catalog. And I've been very concerned that they're just going to start buying up every piece of cheap crap that they can get just so that they can have a volume. But I think this is a project that they will put money into because it has the franchise notability behind it. People are aware of this commodity. So I think that going into it, it's got a bigger chance of being a hit than if it were just some zombie show.
Right. And I definitely agree. But what do you guys think? Go ahead. Do you think that this will be a great decision to be on HBO, or do you think it should be on the big screen? Do you think that this video game movie / TV series will pan out well? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And now we're jumping into the final question of the day. And the final question of the day comes from a Jasmine Lane. And she writes, hey Alex, so HBO Max will be coming out soon. Do you think HBO Max will be a major competitor in the streaming wars? I've heard some say that this This is what could potentially give Disney and Netflix a run for their money.
I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun on this question, but we're going to handle it. That is a really great question.
Yes, thank you for the question. It was a really great question. And like Jeremy mentioned, he kind of went into it. And I was going to address that. Like, we kind of talked about that in the last previous question, which is fine. But in my opinion, kind of picking off what Jeremy said, is that I'm glad that they're developing other content instead of buying it. I think, like, even with Netflix, I'm glad that like CBS and Disney and all these other major competitors are pulling their stuff from Netflix, which forces them to create original content, which I am a fan of. I want more originality. My thing is this though, when you look at Warner Media, I mean, they next to Disney, they're like the second biggest company in the world. So I want to say that yes, they would be a competitor. My only problem with that is that, okay, price. My price and also content. So when you look at HBO Max, you're going to get the first, I think, 20 years of movies and TV shows. Okay, cool. So Warner Media has a lot of movies and TV shows, right? But for me, the stuff that they're developing, aside from Last of Us, I don't know if it's a huge comparison that you can really compete with a Netflix or Disney or even the CBS All Access. The only reason why I say that is because, well, one, this whole service is going to be $15 a month. Disney Plus by itself is $7. Disney Plus with their multiple deals is $12.99 for 3 services. Or if you do Netflix is $10.99 a month. So I think what's going to hurt WB's launch of HBO Max is their price. And also what I think is going to hurt them minimally, not a lot, is their content. I don't really think they're putting out anything on the scale of a Witcher or Mandalorian or anything like that. They have that opportunity to. I still think Disney Plus in the next 5 or 10 years will be on top of Netflix if they keep putting out great content. But it really just does depend. They're going to be a competitor, yes. But will they make Disney Plus subscribers their first day? Absolutely not. Disney Plus did 10 million in one day. I don't think they'll do that. But what do you think, Jeremy, about this development about HBO Max?
So I'm a little bit out of my wheelhouse when we talk about the actual amount of money that these different companies are bringing in, the amount of subscribers that they have, things like that. Netflix is still leading the pack, right?
Right, yeah. Netflix is still leading the pack.
HBO is something that I watch a lot. I watch this show called The Outsider right now, which is a Stephen King kind of procedural that's coming on. It's very good. I loved Watchmen. I watch documentaries like McMillions. I love the show Succession. It's got True Detective. Like, that whole catalog of previous HBO shows is exceptional. They got The Wire. They got Sopranos. Like, so much great television. Now, 12 prestige shows. I think it's debatable whether 12 prestige shows is worth 200 shows that maybe some people have seen and some people haven't. Right. You know, recently HBO Max signed a deal so that they get all of the episodes of Friends, and they're also having some sort of Friends retrospective thing. They've got Rick and Morty, and you cannot sleep on Game of Thrones because they've got this new series coming out. So I think that the loyalists to the HBO brand, they're absolutely going to transfer over. I think that HBO, as far as just a high batting average, I think that they're going to be some of the leaders of the pack as far as all of the streaming services. To your point, though, I don't think that it's going to threaten what Disney's doing. I don't think it's going to encroach on what Netflix is doing. I think they have their huge niche carved out for them. I personally, and I'm sure you probably too, I have Amazon Prime, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Shudder, I have HBO. I've got all of that stuff, and it's not like I'm not gonna not get the new HBO. So that said, will be the people that have everything. There will be people that choose to go with one or the other, and I don't suspect that HBO will be the one streaming service that somebody gets.
I actually agree with that because multiple people right now have multiple services. I do know that some people are like, I heard someone say that since they got Disney Plus, the Disney Plus deal with 3 services, they canceled, I believe, like Shutter or not Shutter, sorry, CBS All Access, because they found out they can watch their shows on CBS for free, just with ads, you know. So so there's that dynamic with that. But you know, I agree. You know, they have really great content at Warner Brothers. I love True Detective. I've seen some episodes of Succession. So for me, I can't wait to see what they're gonna roll out with personally. But I don't. I have to say though, I am interested to see how they're going to bring out their new rollout of content. Like I am interested to see that. Like I am interested to see the new things that are coming out with that. So, but you know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a smart idea for HBO to be competing with all these different streaming services? Do you guys think that they will be a major competitor? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And that wraps up our show today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Ask Alex. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you get all the updates of every time I'm releasing a video here on my channel. And guys, I will be going to MegaCon this year, 2020. A lot of great stars are going to be there. A lot of great things are going to be there too. So check that out. And also, I'm going to be doing another short real soon, so that should be coming out real soon, so check that out. And also, hey, where can we find you at, Jeremy, on the interwebs?
So check me out at Jeremy Be Terrible over on Instagram as well as Twitter. If you guys are into movie-related content, Movies Are Terrible on YouTube, you can go and check out a lot of different content that I've made over the years. Lately, I've been kind of focusing specifically on a project called Movie Monsters, where I discuss some of the most iconic horror characters from different subgenres of the horror genre itself. So the last one that I did is actually like killer sharks movies, everything from Jaws to The Meg to Deep Blue Sea. So you guys go over and check those out. And if you want to check out some of my podcasts and things like that, People Are Terrible, it's available also.
Oh, that's amazing, man. And like I was saying before, Jeremy has really great content. Check his stuff out. He's done a lot of cool collaborations as well. So he's amazing dude with a good perspective on things. And guys, if you want to support either of us, just go to our channels and hit that subscribe button. It's very simple. We'll be more than happy to chat with you guys. And also, if you want to support us here at Momentum Media, not only by subscribing, but you can go to my Patreon page. I have 3 tiers on there. Every dollar you donate helps us to create great content here on my channel. So thank you guys so much for watching these videos. And as always, you have a blessed day.